To introduce to you Dr. Mukesh Goyal. I just met him first time, but I came to know and मेरा कहते हैं ना सीना डबल हो गया ये जान के कि he is from the same institution where I graduated and post graduated. Okay, so I am from 74 batch admission and he is probably 15 years later, and I will not waste more time in giving his achievements and all. He is a GEM, a senior consultant and heart and lung transplant specialist at Apollo, Indraprastha Apollo. To his credit, I want to just highlight, he has done more than 3,000 heart surgeries. 3,000 is a big number. Applause. I also want to draw your attention that he is the first person to transplant in a youngest child in Asia. So this again speaks high of his caliber. So he is, I will not go into details what he is doing. He will tell us by his talk. So over to him about the surgical intervention in cases of intractable heart failures. So, all to you.
Thank you, Dr. Kalra. So let's begin. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, Dr. Chauhan, and everyone for making it today, despite expected traffic jams in Delhi after a heavy rain. And thank you, ma'am. And it was expected. I did not think that so many people will turn up with such a weather in Delhi. But thank you very much for coming. So, I will be speaking on this topic, and I have selected this topic because, like cancer, the heart failure is one condition in heart disease where the people still think that there is no hope, there is no survival. So just to give an idea that heart failure is not a hopeless disease nowadays, and we can achieve and do much more for the patients. So I have selected this topic. So what is basically heart failure? Heart failure is the condition when the heart is not able to meet the demand of the body. So obviously there are stages in heart failure, class 1, 2, 3, 4, according to the clinical status of the patient. Causes of heart failure, the predominant cause is coronary artery disease. Second predominant cause is dilated cardiomyopathy. Then there might be other causes. So why we should think about heart failure and think what we can do about these patients? These patients, they have a tendency to have an acute decompensation in between their long journey with medical therapy, and every episode of acute decompensation requiring a hospitalization and treatment for maybe 3-4 days in the hospital with diuretic, inotrope and everything else, it brings down the survival. One hospital admission, the median survival is 2.5. Second hospital admission, the median survival is only 1.5 years. And after third, it is less than a year. So that's why we need to do something definitely for these patients. So what is the management? See, basically, heart is like a horse and which has to pull a load. So the horse is tired, the heart is failing. So what we can do about it? So there are many like medical therapy, all are physicians here who can know beta blocker, ACE inhibitors, and Vimada nowadays very popular, these kind of drugs. But ACE inhibitors, beta blocker, mineralocorticoid receptor inhibitors, ARBs, all these new age medical therapy. Despite though they have brought down the mortality and morbidity in these patients, still with this treatment 50% of the patient will die in next 5 years once we diagnose them chronic heart failure. So So these are some devices which cardiologists try to use in initial stages of heart failure. A AICD implantation to prevent a sudden arrhythmic death when the patient is still in stage 1 or class 1. Class 2 CRTD device. Then if a patient has a mitral regurgitation or something like that, nowadays a percutaneous clip can be put in the mitral valve just to give 1 or 2 years of asymptomatic survival, but or after that. So once a patient requires something definitive beyond medicine, what are the options? There are 2 options: left ventricular assist device and heart transplant. So how do we know that who are the patients whom we should refer to the surgeon for consideration of advanced surgical treatment of heart failure? So basic criteria definitely, obviously, is echocardiogram and ejection fraction is 25% or less. The patient is clinically symptomatic, New York Heart Association classification 3 or 4. It means like, just to recollect NYHA classification, class 1 is when the patient is asymptomatic. Class 2 is when the patient is asymptomatic on increased physical activity than usual. Like if he is going for a walk or a light jogging or he climbs a flight of stairs, then he becomes symptomatic. Otherwise, he is asymptomatic. Class 3, when he becomes symptomatic, even on usual physical activity like going to the bathroom, eating food, going to the office like that. So he cannot carry out his survival physical activity essential for survival. And class 4 is that he is confined to the bed. Then for heart transplant, we can consider patients for 65 to 70 years of age, and for a left ventricular assist device, slightly older than 75 up to 75. Then the patient should be generally compliant with the prescribed therapy. Suppose you put a patient on a medical therapy and the patient is not taking that therapy diligently, then obviously it is a failure of medical therapy and you should try it again. And it should not be a substance abuser. Affordability obviously should be there, and there should be adequate and family support. So, and these are the patients when we refer. Then what are the time when we have to refer it? When the patient is not able to walk beyond 1 block, patient is refractory to medical therapy, diuretic dose is more than 1.5 milligram per kg per day, and the patient has already a history of 1 or more hospital admission for decompensation. So out of 2, transplant is still the gold standard. But there are some contraindications to transplant, advanced age like more than 70 years. But in India now we have instances of patients undergoing heart transplant even at age of 80 if they are otherwise preserved. So it is not an absolute contraindication. The patient should be free of any systemic infection. If the pulmonary vascular resistance is high and there is a lung disease, so if we transplant a heart in this patient, it will fade, right heart will fade. The patient has other organ disease, patient is quite obese or severe peripheral vascular disease, diabetes with end organ damage. If there is diabetes and there is no other organ damage, the patient is fit for transplant, and active or recent malignancy and ongoing substance abuse. So what do we do for pre-transplant workup of these patients? So basically, patient who is undergoing any transplant, heart, lung, liver, kidney, we have to check whether these patients have any latent viral bacterial infection, fungal infection, or any pneumococcal infection, or they have some latest malignancy. Because all of these patients, they have to be on immunosuppressive regime later on. And we do not want those infections to flare up once we transplant these patients and start giving immunosuppressant therapy. And rest of the investigations are routine like LFT, KFT, CBC, blood parameters, just to know the fitness of the body. For heart transplant, we have to see at the echo and what are the lung pressures, colonoscopy to rule out any latent malignancy, bone density studies, because steroids are part and parcel of immunosuppressant regime, and they tend to have osteoporosis steroid induced, so we want to prevent that. How do we match donor organ? Because like in kidney and liver, who are most of the time they are done live related donor transplant. So they do a whole lot of matching by like HLA typing, gene mapping and other things. But for heart and lung, because they are taken from a cadaveric organ, cadaveric donation. So we do not have time to match all those things. So basic matching is ABO blood group, they should be ABO compatible. Body size compatibility plus minus 15 to 20%, and we just check antibody screen in the recipient that there are no preformed antibodies, significant antibodies in the blood. So it is just like when we did our first heart transplant, this is a donor organ which has been harvested from a cadaveric donor. And this is how we transport organ in a with an ice pack. This is a diseased dilated cardiomyopathy heart which is being taken out of the recipient's body and lying outside. This is the donor heart being loaded into the chest cavity. So how do we connect the donor heart to the recipient? So we do 5 anastomosis. First is the left atrium is at the posterior most. So first we suture left atrium, then we suture inferior vena cava, then we suture pulmonary artery, then we suture aorta, and in the end we suture SVC. So this is how donor heart is sutured to the recipient chest cavity. And as Dr. Kalra mentioned, this is last year we did a youngest kid, and the youngest kid in Asia to undergo a heart transplant. This kid was airlifted from UAE at 4 months of age in a very sick condition, and out of his 4 months of active of life on earth, for 3 months he was on ventilator and and we resuscitated him. He was in both cardiogenic and septic shock. He was resuscitated, maintained, made better, and after a month we got a call from here Gangaram hospital only, where a 18-month girl child was basically had become an organ donor after she fell down from the first floor of her house. This was in January 21. And this is after 1 month when this kid was discharged at 6 months of age. And this is, in December he came for a follow-up. Now he is a 1.5-year-old child doing well. So he is the youngest kid, 5 months old when he underwent a heart transplant. This was our, just to show that first patient we did a heart transplant 5 years back. So post-operative management, I am just mentioning it because you will come many instances patients who have undergone transplant and they might come to you for other consultation. These patients are generally on a triple immunosuppressant, tacrolimus or cyclosporin, mycophenolate or azathioprine, and prednisolone may or may not be there, depending what is the time frame after the transplant. And how do we monitor these patients after the transplant for rejection? Endomyocardial biopsy is gold standard, and initially it is done frequently, but later on it may not be needed as frequently, maybe once a year. But now we have a blood test which we call cell-free donor-derived DNA. This is a simple blood test done by Lal Lab in whole of India, and we call it a liquid biopsy also. But because we take a blood sample, send it to the lab, after 2 days we get the result, whether there are any indication for rejection or not. And depending on that, we can decide whether this patient needs another invasive endomyocardial biopsy or not. But what are the limitations for heart transplant? Obviously, you know that organs are not so easily available. Though pig heart is coming, and we might get a routinely pig heart in after 10 years. but it is still a long way to go. And as we know that the first person who underwent a pig heart transplant in Maryland University, he died after a month, though there was many surgical post-operative complications. Then in New York University, last week they have implanted 2 brain dead patients with a pig-derived heart. And they are now monitoring that should be the protocol, how they behave and these things also, but still it will take minimum 10 years to come into clinical practice. And other things, that pig, the company which supplies that pig, which has been genetically modified by altering 10 genes, the company charges $500,000 for that pig. So that is the 4 crore is the cost of the pig. And this is in today's dollar rupee rate. Maybe when the dollar goes up, the pig cost will increase. And then obviously they have to be on immunosuppressive regime, advanced age, high pulmonary vascular resistance, other comorbidities and other things are contraindications. So what are the options for these patients? Then we come to left ventricular assist devices. So these are basically motorized pumps which we can implant to the left side of the heart and which can unload the heart and do the function for left ventricle. So this is one of the studies, earliest studies which compared left ventricular assist devices with medical management, and you can see the clear difference between the survival at 2 years between the LVAD patients and medical management. So these are the evolution of assist devices. These were so bulky in the late 90s, and now this is the latest device which we call HeartMate 3, and it fits into the peritoneal cavity itself. So it's very small, magnetically levitated, and there is no real contact with the moving disc and the blood. So how does it work? So this device is basically attached to the left ventricular cavity, and there is an outflow graph which can be attached to the aorta. So now this pump draws from the left ventricle and pumps it into the aorta. So definitely it replaces the left ventricle and does all the function. This can give outflow, cardiac output up to 7 to 8 liters per minute. So there is a small cable which comes out of the skin in the abdomen, because it requires continuous electrical supply to run its motor, and there is a small console and battery pack which the patient need to carry along. So how to use it? Like there are many terms which we describe for the users of this device. Bridge to decision, bridge to bridge, like main is bridge to transplant. The patients who are otherwise fit for transplant, but they are too sick to wait for the organ because it takes 6 months to 1 year for an organ to become available. And if we think that this patient may not survive that long, so we can put that this device in that patient so that he can wait for the organ to become available. So that is called bridge to transplant. Then another is destination therapy. When the person is not fit for transplant, obviously then he has no other choice but to have this device as a lifelong destination therapy. So how do we select patient for LVAD? So what happens that once we put this device into the patient, so left ventricle functions becomes immaterial because this device is now doing the function of left ventricle. But the right side of the heart is very, very important because that becomes the basically pumping heart of the patient, and if the right heart is not good, so this device will not, that will fail and this device will not be able to work. So we have to very carefully select right and assess the right heart function of these patients, and second, the frailty of the patient. So how do we assess right heart? We do some echo and cath study to assess the right heart, fitness of the right heart. Then these are the basically stages and describe how do we, like when we implant these patients, like patients who may die within few hours if we don't implant it. Then the patients who got a few days. So generally we prefer this device in profile 3, 4 and 5. 6 and 7 can be managed with medicine. 3, 4, 5 means when these patients are either recurrently coming to the hospital for acute decompensation or they are inotrope dependent, moving around the hospital with a dobutamine drip. Second, we have to recognize that there is a window to implant this device and before the patient becomes too high risk. So here the patient is too early, can be managed with medical therapy, so there is no use of putting this device. And like in a journey, if the right heart fails, other end organ function deteriorates, then even if we implant this device, you may not do well. So there is a window when the other organs are okay, right heart is okay, and he is quite symptomatic, then we should consider for implanting this device and should not miss this window. So what are the results of LVADs? In last 10 years, more than 20,000 patients they have been implanted, and 10-year results, and you can see they are quite good, impressive. And nowadays with the HeartMate 3 device which I mentioned earlier, the 3-year survival of HeartMate 3 is now approaching at that of a heart transplant survival. Compared to the medical therapy, in the same group of patients, profile 4, you can see that they have a 49% 2-year survival on optical medical management compared to 79% with LVAD. So this is an actual registry incidence of complication that from thrombosis is not more than 1%, and compared to earlier generation device, there are fewer readmission required with this device. This is a actual registry result. The earlier we showed you what were the trial result before FDA approval, and this is a registry approval. And you can say that in heart transplant survival, in an actual real world registry. And soon we will have a wireless charging of this device. Israel, there is a lot of work going on, and where we will do away with that cable which is coming out of the skin and being attached. And what we call a fully implantable LVAD, like a fully implantable CRT-D or a AICD. So what are the challenges for this device as a long-term therapy? That there is a lack of awareness and acceptance, lack of referral, and obviously cost. Because the device cost itself 76 lakh rupees, so that becomes an issue. Then something about acute heart failure and LVAD support for these patients. So this was a 3-year-old boy. He came to us 2 years back with cardiac shock because of the myocarditis. This child has both left ventricular and right ventricular dysfunction, hardly moving. The child was in profound cardiac shock, making no urine. So we put 4 cannulas in the child, one in the left ventricle, one in the pulmonary artery, one in the aorta, and one in the right ventricle. And we connected these cannulas, these 2 pumps. One is supporting the right ventricle, one is supporting the left ventricle. And these are called temporary assist devices, as compared to the earlier which we talked about implantable LVADs. And they are good for short-term support of the ventricles. And these are the 2 consoles which are maintaining flow through this child. You can see this is the left side, this is the right side. And for this 3-year-old child, this is like 1.9 around liter flow, giving both the pumps. So the child improved in next 10 days. We removed this pump. The child is still doing well. So the message for today is that any patient with heart failure, acute or chronic, please consider the referral and appropriate treatment for these patients, and don't just leave them in lurch. And just to announce that we have now got lung transplant facilities also, and very soon we will be starting a lung transplant. And we have basically started lung transplant. We are already evaluating the patient and in the process of listing them. So lung transplant is now also available there. Thank you very much for your patient listening, and thank you for coming to this. Thank you.
Recently regarding the ACCHA guidelines recently, they said that the radial has a 1A recommendations, whereas the Lima has a 1B and the Lima has a 2A recommendations. But the Thoracic Society of Surgeons don't agree to that. Your comments, sir?
Sir, if we talk about total arterial revascularization, basically we talk about Lima and Lima. And radial is still not looked upon.
So this is the controversy brewing. The recent guidelines from the AHA and the ACC recently published, they said this says the radial has a 1A recommendation, whereas the Lima and the Lima has probably inferior recommendations.
Very important artery to be.
But as you said correctly, the Thoracic Society of Surgeons do not agree to that.
Yeah.
And my last question would be, on HIV cardiomyopathy. See, we have a best sexologist sitting with us. So till you give ARTs, this is not going to be cured.
Definitely, if a patient is having any viral infection, for example, if a patient is suffering from HIV or is having CD4 count which is less than 200, definitely you have to start with ART. And whenever the CD4 is more than 300, 400, definitely then the failures will be less and the patient survival rate will increase. My question is, sir, जो आपने अभी बोला कि जो the pigs which cost approximately 5 crore, why we are not able to breed them in India? What is that? Why it is so costly? Is it not possible that those pigs can be breeded in India and उनका हम transplant कर सकते हैं? What is the reason?
Sir, those genetically modified pigs are being supplied by only one company in the world, Revivicor. And this company was the one which supplied kidney, which was implanted last year in a brain dead patient by New York University Hospital to study how it behaves. And the same company has supplied now that heart which was implanted into a human as a definitive therapy 2 months back in January, 6 months back, and now this. So this basically this company is doing work and doing all the expenses. So I don't know why they have to put this price.
Sir, I think they are working on immunocomposites. Definitely, when we are implanting any organ from any other animal or source, you have to use the immunosuppressants. Definitely, they must be using some immunosuppressants, and that's why. This thing is because at the time when you are increasing the CD4 count, sir, all immunity depends on CD4 count. If the CD4 count is more than 500, definitely the secondary infection will be less. There will be no secondary, no bacterial invasion, no fungal or no viral infection. So this thing is to be taken in consideration that if you are implanting anything to the patient, keep the consideration that the CD4 count should be more than 500.
Yeah, Dr. Mukesh, I think you said first transplant from the pig was done in US. But I think in 1997, Dr. Barua in Assam tried first pig transplantation, and maybe he was not up to the latest recommendation, but he was jailed for it. So what is the story? Can you say in brief? Because first pig transplantation of heart was done in India in Assam.
No, not only transplanted heart, we basically transplanted heart, lungs, liver and kidney in same. Obviously the patient did not survive beyond 1 week. And his transplant and liver was not backed by any science. So here a special FDA and ethical committee approval was taken from the authorities, and then this transplant was done.
What was wrong in Dr. Barwai's transplant?
Sir, as we know that pig has many genes which incite rejection and other reactions. So this company is basically trying to knock out some genes, add some extra genes to make it compatible to humans.
Okay, so immunosuppressant, why not given something like that?
No sir, immunosuppressant was given at that time also. Immunosuppressant we have to give anyway because see, leave this categoric organ donation which we do for heart and lung because they cannot be taken from a live donor. But even for the kidney and liver, 90% of the kidney and liver donations and transplants, they are being done with a live related donor. Still we have to give the same immunosuppressant. We cannot do away with the immunosuppressant.
Sir, my suggestion is there could be some political and patent issues also. So there are forces which avoid.
Then there are countries like Western Europe, US, UK, which we combine together. So there they say opt-in. Basically, you have to declare that I will donate. So, and there is otherwise also very high awareness in the families and population for donation. Along with the family and the population, it is the hospital and doctors which have to initiate the talk basically. And then obviously there are some communities which are against organ donation, but they can accept it, that is a different matter. In India, the Tamil Nadu has the highest rate of donation. Why? And because of whom?
Yeah.
Tamil Nadu was like Delhi till 2012.
Yeah.
In 2012, Jayalalitha, who was passionate about these things, she talked to her bureaucrats and they passed a legislation that every hospital, every doctor who is treating a critical care patient, critically ill patient, he should counsel the patient if he is brain dead about organ donation and inform the authorities.
Yeah.
If we can come up in Delhi with that kind of legislation, Delhi has the potential of donation of at least 100 organs combined in a month. But what we are here, not even one.
Yes,
Even with heart and lungs, which I am talking about, we have a group, WhatsApp group conducted by, which is administered by NOTO, which is National Organ Tissue Transplant Organization. Headquarters, she has changed, headquarters in Safdarjung Hospital next door, which regulates the whole India. And Orbo is only for AIDS. For India, it is NOTO. And yeah.
Headquarters is at Safdarjung.
And yeah, so the most of the organ donation alert we get, they are from now for North India, from Gujarat, Ahmedabad, Surat, Dehradun, Chandigarh, not from Delhi.
I mean.
Delhi we are just dealing with mohalla cleaning and these things. We are not talking about anything.
I'm being told by my sexologist friend to keep shut, but I'll still go ahead and ask if somebody wants to. No, I just wanted to ask. I just wanted to ask if somebody wants to go ahead and donate, which is the organization to tap? NOTO.
Yes, sir. Sir, first of all, see, what he say कि अगर आप कहीं पे हैं, अगर दुकानदार ने आपसे सामान नहीं पूछा है तो आपको हो सकता है खरीदो ना खरीदो, but ultimately आपको पहले तो आपको ऑफर करना पड़ेगा ना. तो wherever the person is, the patient is, the doctor has to be aware of it first, and then ask the family, and then simply every hospital has to register itself with NOTO that we are ready to make a brain death committee and promote organ donation.
Sir, what about crocodile donation of heart as far as heart donation is concerned, instead of pig? Don't you think that heart is much better? It was a 0 to 3 and got if there any
वो तो घर में पाल सकते हो.
only statement is
Sir,
I think next session to start.
sir, just the last question, sir, before we get Dr. Rajuvesh here. Sir, you talk about many procedures, before the heart transplant. The surgical treatment of heart failure, I believe, the bottom line and the ultimate destination is heart transplant.
Yeah.
Right, sir? Now, you mentioned many things, like LVAD, etc., etc. I believe LVAD is just a stopgap arrangement for heart transplant. Is that correct, sir? The message
Yes, sir. LVAD can be used both ways. Either as a bridge to transplant in patients who have otherwise fit for transplant, but they are too sick to wait for the organ donor to become available. And that another is destination therapy. The patients who are not fit for transplant, then we just implant Albert as a destination.
Right. Sir, what is the average cost of LVAD if the patient puts it, let's say, for 2 years before he or she gets a regular transplant?
So the HeartMate 3, which is the latest generation device, the whole cost approximate is 90 lakhs, including the cost of the device.
1 crore के करीब से, 1 crore के करीब.
And then that HeartMate 2, which is their earlier generation device, but they are still delivering it to India as a special case, then it comes down to 50 to 60 lakhs.
Sir, once a patient gets his fortunate, he or she is fortunate enough to get heart for transplantation, what is the cost of heart transplant to the patient?
Sir, our surgical package and estimate is for heart transplant for a 2-week stay is around 20 to 25 lakhs.
Do you charge for the heart also, which is donated?
No, that is not charged, because that is obviously a donation without.
No,
that is a
I want
donation.
to ask this. It's important for us.
It is like cost for the organ donor is like the cost for the blood transfusion. The hospital charges for the testing and the storage, not for the donation, because it is a voluntary donation. So there is no cost for the voluntary donation, only for the cost for logistics, because you have to maybe fly there, or you may be taking an ambulance. You have to take certain amount of equipment and material for there to harvest it and bring it back.
Sir, one of my friends was asking, and I'm sorry to ask this question, please don't feel offended.
Yeah.
How many have you done, sir? Heart transplants?
Sir, in Apollo we have done till date 4, and
Sir, the rate, the success rate,
sir, operative success has been 100%.
the survival.
But one patient died after 2 years, and that too because he had some rejection, and we advised him to get admitted and take an anti-rejection treatment for maybe 2 days, just a steroid shot. But he refused that. I will come back again, and unfortunately he died. Rest he has survived.
What is the longest survival, sir?
So because I have shifted to Apollo only 6 years back, and the first transplant only 3-4 years back, so my experience is 3 years.